I will admit that after watching Season 3 of The Dragon Prince, in which Callum and Rayla finally enter a relationship after spending 3 seasons slowly becoming closer to each other, I did not think they would be separated for a long time. I mean, I had my doubts, but they were minor. Sure, they might be separated eventually, just for the sake of creating more drama, but surely it wouldn't be until the latter half of Season 4 at the earliest, right? Well, apparently not. Instead, they were separated before Season 4 even began, in the graphic novel Through the Moon. The showrunner of The Dragon Prince, Aaron Ahas, even declined to offer confirmation that they would ever see each other again. He was very cagey and ambiguous about this. Now, I think he's a little facetious here. Do I think there's a real chance they will never see each other again? No, I think they'll reunite eventually, but what does eventually mean? How long will it actually be until they see each other again? For how long will they have to be apart? Will they, in fact, reunite in Season 4? That's what I'm going to try and investigate in this analysis. Rayla does not want Callum to find her. That's why she left before morning, before Callum could realize what she was up to. She does not want him to follow her, because if he followed her, he would endanger himself, and that's above all what she wants to avoid. This is for Rayla her burden, her responsibility, no one else's. She does not want anyone else to get hurt by the choices she has made. As I've noted in my other videos on this subject, this is a classic example of the old "I'm leaving you in order to protect you" trope that I typically find rather hackneyed and banal, but it actually works here because it fits Rayla's character, it fits her impulsiveness, and it fits her anxiety. But while I can demonstrate some sympathy for her predicament and for the choices she makes, her plan is doomed. Callum is, of course, going to run right after her as soon as he learns that she has left. But even if he does run after her, does he have a good chance of finding her? Number one, Rayla has a good head start. Even if Callum heads off as soon as possible, she would still have at least a couple hours on him. And number two, it should be noted that while Callum has grown a lot mentally and physically, and he's far from the dorky, awkward kid he was at the start of the series, he is still nowhere near as athletic as Rayla. He's a mage. He doesn't go in for that close combat fighting whenever he can avoid it. So, what will result most likely is that she will be in terrible danger, and he will be separated from her, but also in a terrible amount of danger, wandering through this war-torn continent. Rayla would understand this if she was thinking rationally about the situation, but of course she is not. Why would she be? She's desperate, she's miserable, she desperately wants to kill Viren and stop him from looming over her, and stop herself from having to always be thinking about him, but she does not want to endanger the person she cares most about in the world. She knows this journey is a risk. She knows there is a legitimate chance that Viren is still alive. She knows that even if he is alive, she'll have a difficult journey ahead of her, because she'll have a hard time trying to convince other people to help her, trying to convince other people that someone who fell a couple hundreds of feet to their deaths is still alive. But if there is even a chance that Viren is still alive, Rayla believes it is her duty and her responsibility to find him. Unless she does this, she'll never have peace. She'll always have the possibility of his still being alive hanging over her. Will Callum be able to catch her? Well, I certainly hope so. The last two times Rayla tried to go after Viren without Callum's help, she almost died. The first occasion was at the end of Season 3, the very last episode, where she rushes Viren and shoves him off a cliff so she can save the small dragon Ozymandias. This is effective enough to kill Viren. He can't do anything to recover from a drop of such a height. But it's also an incredibly dangerous thing for Rayla. She would have died had Callum not helped her, and she knows this. She rushed him knowing that she might die, and she didn't care. She always puts her grand objectives above her personal safety. Thankfully, Callum was there to save her. Otherwise, it would have been a much darker ending. And then you have Through the Moon, wherein she enters the Moon Nexus to search for Viren and look for confirmation that he's dead. Confirmation she does not receive, as she only sees Viren in this weird cocoon state that she takes to mean that he's still alive. Rayla insists on going in here alone, but it ends disastrously for her, and if Callum had not been there to help rescue her from the Moon Nexus, she probably would have died there. The desire to kill Viren is for Rayla more a vague compulsion than a plan she's thought out. Even if Viren is alive, she doesn't know where to find him. She has no way of knowing where he went, even if he is alive. Now, what's most likely is that she'll return to the place where he died. It's not a guarantee that she will find him there, but for Rayla, it's the most likely possibility. Viren is in exile, so it's not like he can just return to where he was before. He has to be in some secret, out-of-the-way place, and the area where he died is a good bet for Rayla. I don't know if it's particularly likely that she'll find out where he is, considering that we, the audience, don't even find out where he is, and we saw him be resurrected. He's in a cave somewhere, but where exactly? I doubt he's that far from where he was killed. Think about what happened. He dies, his body is mangled, and Claudia has to, amidst all the dust and rubble of the battlefield, find a way to drag his body somewhere so that she can have a safe place to use dark magic to resurrect him. Now, Claudia is very crafty, and she has extremely strong magical powers, so it's not as hard of a task for her as it would be for you or me, but I doubt it would be easy for her, so it would make sense that she would not take his body too far. And if that is true, Rayla's plan to look for him near the battlefield might not be a bad one. Even if she's right, what does it matter? Viren's army of dark magic zombies might be gone, but Claudia is not. She is furious at what happened, and if she saw Rayla, she would not hesitate in raining hellfire in the form of dark magic down on Rayla. Why would Claudia restrain herself from killing Rayla? She has every reason to hate Rayla. Number one, Rayla's an elf. Number two, Rayla's the person who stole Callum's affections that had been formerly directed at Claudia. And number three, and most importantly, Rayla is the person who killed her father. In the first couple seasons of the show, it's easy to not take Claudia too seriously. It's easy to think she's just a comic relief character. And there are a few reasons for that. I mean, she always laughs at terrible jokes. She seems a lot more lighthearted than someone like Azula, a character to whom she has been consistently compared by a lot of people in the fandom. And also because Claudia seems to have a good heart. She's not pure evil. She's not motivated by malice. She seems to get along with a lot of people. She has a strong sense of humor, even if it's an obnoxious one sometimes. And though, yes, she does have a tendency toward using dark magic, it doesn't seem to come from a malicious place. It doesn't seem like she's this evil sorceress who wants to use the power of animals to fuel her own ambitions. But in the last season or so, it has become clear that Claudia is absolutely terrifying. It's not that she's a fundamentally different person than she was in the first couple seasons of the show. The writers have not fundamentally altered her character. It's just that she has been broken. There is nothing she has cared about more than her family, and her family is now being ripped apart. All she can do is defend Viren, who genuinely seems to love her, unlike Ozai and Azula. And if defending Viren leads her to dark paths, so be it. The only person she blames for tearing apart their family is Soren. Soren was Claudia's last link to goodness. Now, this is not to say Soren was always in the right, but when he was wrong like that high school jock who acts in error without thinking too hard. He just bumbles around and acts according to his instincts. There's nothing mean or cruel or malicious in him. Now Claudia has been separated from him. She's been separated from Callum and the rest of the Ozymandias team. She's been separated from everyone except her father, Viren, and the mysterious and anxiety-inducing Eryth. As such, the darkness within her has a lot of space to grow and flourish. There is a distinct possibility that we could end up with a nail-biting confrontation between Claudia and Rayla. It's entirely possible that Rayla might find the cave where Viren's holed up and expect to have an easy time killing him, only for Claudia to completely break those fantasies and seriously injure Rayla. This is especially a risk if Rayla is still alone. If Callum manages to find Rayla early in the season, he might be able to help her. Rayla would not be happy to see him, and she would ask accusingly why he followed her. To this, Callum would respond that wherever she goes, he will go. He cannot live with himself if she got hurt while he wasn't with her. He'd say that no matter what she wants to believe, the two of them are in this together, regardless of the circumstances. Instead of engaging in a headlong pursuit of Viren, Rayla would calm down. She would help Callum devise this plan to go after Viren. It would be more calculated. It would be more logical. But what if Callum doesn't find her right away? What if she gets that much further ahead of him that he can't track her? What if Callum's too late? What if he finds Rayla only to find that she's either been killed or horribly, horribly hurt? Claudia defeats Rayla easily and then uses her as leverage against Callum to kind of bend Callum to her will. It's not impossible. Whatever is going to happen, it's not going to be pretty. There would not be a happy ending in this situation. Ezrin and Zim and the rest of the team are going to be lost and frightened if Callum runs after Rayla. With the two of them gone, the group would be left without leaders. This is a world that has enjoyed a slight respite from all the chaos. It's enjoyed a slight bit of peace. But that peace is going to dissolve fairly quickly in Season 4 as Eryth continues to scheme. The world needs Callum and Rayla to help fight against this darkness, and Callum and Rayla really need each other. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant, haunting, empathetic show that's bold and courageous and unafraid to tackle the after effects of war and how it splits people apart. So anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I really can't wait for Season 4 of The Dragon Prince. The show is only getting better. I hope y'all are well. Watch more shows. Dragon Prince, Avatar, Korra, whatever. These shows are all great. Adios, comrades.